we were at our case conference, which we have every week in the department, which is across a significant different distance from the ICU. So I walked back after the meeting, and there's an envelope on my desk. I said, that's unusual. Usually you don't have envelope. I got everything else on my desk, but this plain white envelope. So I opened it up and said, wow. I didn't even know what this was, but I said, hey, that's a good deal. I'm very gratified by it. We all work hard. Every one of us works very hard. It's part of the game. It's what we signed up for. But to have somebody who's not necessarily working with you on a daily basis say, hey, you're really doing a good job, I really appreciate that. I've been here for a long time, and I've seen every kind of behavior known to humanity. I'm still from the day where the surgeons would throw instruments in the OR. We don't do that anymore, thankfully. But it comes from knowing when somebody looks at you and says, you know, that guy was rude to me, and I was working all night at the bedside. I was taking care of his patient. So you grab him and say, you know, this is what I heard you say. I'm sure you didn't mean that. Perhaps we could go back and try again. Or sometimes being a little more directive and say, you're not going to talk to my nurse like that. You're not going to talk to my resident like that. And often, sometimes, even bringing back and tell you, my people, back off. This isn't worth screaming about. We have to have a workplace that's pleasant to deal with. We have also amazing amount of stress there. We have people who are dying. We have people who are young taking care of them. Many of our students and nurses haven't seen a lot of death because you go through school relatively sheltered, and all of a sudden you got these people who are very critically ill. And it's hard for some of them to be able to take care of. It's a tough job for all of them. But because I've been there for a while, I'm able to say, hey, let's work this way. Let's work a little bit differently and see what it does. And it's very gratifying when they actually listen to me. I think a lot of it is I have very committed nursing staff. My nursing leadership is wonderful. And a lot of it is we all have to point out constantly that we're on the same page. Our duty is not to each other. Our duty is to the patients first, then to the families, then to each other. But if you can't interact with somebody, you're not going to be effective as a caretaker.